Вот это и есть на самом деле, да. Мужики, которые ты любишь. Эй. Ладно. Тириби, дюриби. Работу, да? Сама буду делать все, как сама делаю. Если надо, да, здесь нет. Маленькие еще эти снят, да? Ну-ка, сокола, батрут, бак. Как она? Давай, стой. Дозрела, нет, каши. Ладно. Решение. Ну надо всегда вот это говорите. Ну что,
Fatty acids that are also in our diet, like the corn oil, canola, soy oil, the cottonseed oil. It's in just so many foods. It's in foods that you're going to find when you go out to eat, and all that creates a lot of inflammation, and it just makes you look older. In fact, it affects the eyes, as in age-related macular degeneration, which is older-looking skin. But fatty fish is very, very important. Right? The second thing is egg yolks. You're going to get a lot of good vitamin A from egg yolks, and you're also going to get choline in egg yolks. That's great for a fatty liver and help you regulate cholesterol. There's lecithin in egg yolks too, which help regulate cholesterol. Because
у меня есть своя не то что теория, гипотеза, почти уверенность даже. Но она здесь. Я не квалификант просто, не квалификант все. Бешеная.
As far as concerned about the cholesterol in egg yolks, but it has the antidote to that cholesterol as well. And also, by the way, you need full-time cholesterol to build healthy membranes in your cell, to build healthy sex hormones that make your skin look youthful, like testosterone and estrogen. You need all of that good cholesterol to make healthy-looking skin. This is why people that are on cholesterol medication, like statins, end up looking really old, and they end up having a lot of side effects with the muscles and inflammation, and they can't make bile. You need cholesterol to make bile. Bile is just so important. And one thing.
Диам это масло тела, что ли, чем? Bile.
You start doing too is start taking purified bile salts to help extract some of these fat-soluble nutrients from the cells if you're deficient. So egg yolks, very, very important. Butter can give you a deficient. So egg yolks, very, very important. Butter can give you a lot of vitamin A. don't be afraid to consume butter. Just make sure it's grass-fed. And then we get to vitamin E. Now, the best source of vitamin E is sunflower seeds, but it's also in the leafy greens, it's in nuts, it's butter. Just make sure it's grass-fed. And then we get to vitamin E. Now, the best source of vitamin E is sunflower seeds, but it's also in the leafy greens, it's in nuts, it's in vegetables. Okay, so vitamin E is very, very important in your skin, as well as internally. Now, another good oil would be cod liver oil. Cod liver oil has vitamin D, as well as vitamin A, as well as omega-3 fatty acids. Okay, so cod liver and cod liver oil, very, very important. As well as beef liver too. I personally can't eat it because I don't like the taste, but if you like liver and onions, go for it. Organ meats are loaded with these fat-soluble vitamins. Extra virgin olive oil, very, very important. Avocados, avocado oil, awesome for your skin. So, in other words, you don't want to go low-fat. There's a diet, which I don't recommend, by the way. It's called Ideal Protein. Now, it's keto, it's low-carb, but it's also low-fat. So it's not really, from my definition, a healthy version of a ketogenic diet. And if you ever look at someone who's done the Ideal Protein diet, boy, do they look old. Their hair, their skin looks all dried out. It doesn't look youthful. So you might lose weight, but you don't look healthy. Now, there's one little interesting thing I want to tell you about vegetables, okay? You might not think that there's much fat in vegetables, but a lot of the phytonutrients, like chlorophyll, like carotenoids, and the list goes on and on, are all fat soluble. So to extract these wonderful antioxidants, as well as amazing phytonutrients, you need bile, and you also need to eat them with fat.
Не, меня никто слушать все равно не будет. Я тебе говорю, я очень просто берешь, то есть как бы, ну да, ну о себе ты думаешь только так, все так думают, потому что да, ну ты понял, да. Ну, не знаю, еще лучший вариант. Да, понимаю, да.
When you're consuming a cruciferous vegetable, put some olive oil on it. Consuming the greens with oil will help you extract these wonderful phytonutrients, which not only are loaded with antioxidants, but they also help at phase 1, phase 2 detoxification. And by the way, phytonutrients also help stimulate autophagy. Okay, on the topic of free radical damage, okay, in order to handle excess amount of free radical damage and oxidation, which makes you look older, there's two types of antioxidants. There are endogenous antioxidants, which are antioxidants that your body makes, okay? And then there's exogenous antioxidants, which you get from food, okay? So there's two types of antioxidants. There are endogenous antioxidants, which are antioxidants that your body makes, okay? And then there's exogenous antioxidants, which you get from food, okay? So if you need to consume a lot of greens and vegetables to get those antioxidants, but your own body has antioxidant networks which increase when you exercise, which increase when you do fasting. So fasting helps you with just about every aspect of looking youthful. And so every time you do fasting, you actually increase antioxidants internally. Pretty cool. Now, I've already mentioned about the combination of glucose and protein and glucose and fat, but just glucose in general, okay? Consuming a high-carb diet is probably the fastest way to look older, because if you ever take a look at a diabetic, boy, they age so fast. The sugar is like rust, and it oxidizes not just the inside of your artery and the eye and the nerves and the brain and the kidney, but your skin. It'll make your skin look really old, and every time you consume glucose of any kind, you also at the same time block vitamin C. The chemistry of vitamin C is very similar to glucose. And so you're blocking vitamin C, which is another powerful antioxidant. And you're also depleting other antioxidants from your body when you consume sugar, and like vitamin B1, which is also an antioxidant, and you're basically just making your skin look really, really old very fast. And of course, if you smoke, you're really depleting these antioxidants and vitamins, especially vitamin C. That the requirement or demand for antioxidants, vitamin C, and other vitamins go way up if you're a smoker, because you're putting all this pollution internally. So one way to age prematurely is just keep smoking. So if you're a smoker, do whatever you can to, you know, keep the habit. But in the meantime, if you're making this transition and you're coming out smoking, or let's say you're
ухода за родными, да? За то, что хорошо делает всем, хорошо дает всем.
You want to take a lot of antioxidants, not from a pill, but from food. You want to consume a lot of greens and do a lot of fasting and do all the things that I'm talking about to counter all this free radical damage that's occurring in the body. Now, another point I'm going to bring up is this thing called stress. Stress puts your body into two situations. One, it puts your body into a glucose situation where your body is now tapping into glucose as fuel. It's turning things into glucose. So even though you got off carbs.
Ну, знаешь, как говорят, что у женщин от рождения у них есть принцип свой, наоборот, поняла ты уже. Женщина это мама и родная, понимаешь? Ну да, типа того. То есть, да, для добра, как святые. Прислуженные, служака, собака, как-то так, да, понимаешь? И это хорошо, понимаешь? Это, да. Это не только натура, не только, да. Это тепло, и деньги, если они при чем, то не наоборот. То есть женщина с деньгами это зло. То есть, ну как, я еще раз тебе говорю, что святость это женское просто естество, натура. Да, то есть, да, типа, ну вот как-то просто, ну я не к тому, что я обижаюсь или обижаю кого-то. Ну нет, я не к тому, вот видишь, это просто религиозность такая, да, получается. Ну не религиозность, безденежность, то есть, понимаешь? То есть, потому что все настоящее, оно от людей исходит, от тел людских, понимаешь? От того, что тела, да, типа того. Да, понимаете, вот и все, блин, да. А какие будут, что там будет, это все не важно. А может вообще даже ничего не надо, понимаешь? То есть вот ты такая вот, надо это, надо, а не надо ничего. Пусть за тебя мужик решает, чем тебя окружить, какую оправу тебе оставить. Как бы, да, ну то и мужик, да, понимает. Ну да. Да, понимает. Ну вот это сказал же просто серьезно, да. Да, понимает, да, понимает. Наверное, с характером. Характер у вас, да? Понимает, да. Понимаешь, мужчина это всегда мужчина, это всегда мужская особь. Это такой вопрос времени, когда он начинает себя проявлять. Да. И это не твое дело, что будет он себя проявлять, не будет, твое дело быть родное, да. То есть как бы не к тому, что ты что-то там, да, а просто это хорошо, это нормально, это естественно, да. Чтобы, если угодно. И тогда и хочется, понимаешь? И тогда, да, город, ну, как говорится, да. Ну, видишь, это уже, ну, хорошо, если так понимаешь, так понимаешь, да. Да, понимает он тебя просто, да. Да, это есть. Да. Угу. А что может быть дороже шмоток? Смотри, давай тебе ампутируем пол организма. Узнаешь, что может быть дороже. Или что, наоборот, что всякое говорит. Не знаю, то есть как бы ради чего жить-то? Ну ладно, меня не касается. Ну да. Да, да, здоровье, жизнь, да. Доброе, да. Взаимоотношения, да, наверное, как-то так. Любовь, роднизм, да, наверное, так. Да. Прощение, все прощение. Да. Да, понимаешь. Ну да. Ну, значит, ну не надо, значит. Ну нет, значит, ну может, да, понимаешь, Значит, неправильно? Значит, у вас, то есть я тебе говорю же, да, значит, у вас условия, значит, у вас мужское мнение какое-то. А что это делаете? Да, понимаю, это надежно, да. Да, манипулятор просто и все. Да. Ничего, простите, поправили, что это прекрасно, да. Жака, ну она позвать, постепенно.
You're still consuming carbs
Ну, наоборот, значит, да,
if you have a lot of stress. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is that it's creating a catabolic.
Не понимаю, работа по дому, что ли, если что, если нет, работу видеть свою, да.
Breakdown effect of proteins. Your skin. So one way to age is just to go through a lot of stress. So you're going to have to actively work hard at countering the amount of stress in our environment. Unfortunately, you can't escape it, but you can do things to counter it and slow it down. You can actively and aggressively do continual regular exercise. You can do a lot of fasting, both intermittent and prolonged fasting. You can do physical work, which is probably one of the best ways to counter stress. You can work on improving your sleep, okay? And one really great technique is to control your breathing. Start breathing through your nose, especially when you're sleeping, and slow down your breathing. I have a really good video on that. If you haven't seen that, I will put a link down below. But controlled breathing can pull you out of a panic attack and really keep your stress under control. But stress is another factor that I need to bring up because it's a really important thing. The other point I want to bring up is protein. You want to make sure the protein is quality, so organic, grass-fed, well-caught, fatty fish. Seafood is important for quality proteins as well as trace minerals, which help the skin. Then we have pasture-raised eggs, very, very important versus the commercial eggs. Then you have wild-caught animal products. And then we also get to the amount of protein. A healthy ketogenic plan is a moderate amount of protein. It's not a high-protein diet. What do you think happens when you consume excessive amounts of protein that you're not converting to body proteins? Well, that protein is then used for fuel, and it's also creating a lot of waste in your body. So it's very important not to overdo it on the protein if you want to look youthful. So I'm not recommending going low protein, just a moderate amount. A real simple rule of thumb would be the amount of protein on the palm of your hand times 2 if you're male, or just times 1 if you're female, just to keep it really, really simple. That would be a moderate amount of protein. And then the last point I want to bring up is your microbiome. Your microbes in your gut help make fatty acids, called short-chain fatty acids, which are really important in controlling blood sugars, in making your insulin more sensitive, in getting rid of insulin resistance. They also make vitamins, B vitamins. They also make factors that help your immune system and decrease inflammation. And on top of that, they make secondary bile. So they help you make bile, which is also very, very important in the extraction of the fat soluble vitamins. So having a really good microbiome is so essential in that youthful look. And one of the best foods for establishing this microbiome is fermented vegetables. So, like sauerkraut, probably the best food for your skin. But there are other types of things like pickles and other fermented vegetables that are very, very important because they give you the prebiotic and the probiotic at the same time. All right, I packed a lot of information in this video. I hope you took notes. Watch it again.
Тебе вырвут сердце, наверное, с таким диагнозом.
Let's talk about the real reason why you should be drinking lemon water every single day. The average person does not know the true
А, ну да, да. Ну ладно. Ну здорово. Для себя что делаешь-то? Ну нет, все хорошо. Ну да. Сыкьёк. Thank you. Thank you.